We all have what we call heart places, places that we fall in love with, just like we fall in love with people. And one of my heart places is the snow. And I fell in love with snow before I even met snow, because I grew up in Perth, which is about as far from snow as you can get. But of course, all our fairy stories and all the fantasies that I was reading as a child were full of snow and the magic of it, the enchantment of it. And then when I moved to Sydney and had the opportunity to start visiting Coonamma Namadgi, Australia's snowy mountains, I fell in love with a real place. And so that has become my escape. When I found out that snow in Australia could be really drastically affected by climate change, if we continue on our path and don't turn this around, by about 2070, you've just got fleeting bits of snow and it doesn't really stay on the ground. That was the gut punch that put me on this path of climate grief. My partner is the famous Robin Williams, the presenter of the science show on ABC, National Living Treasure as he is officially. And in 2015, he got cancer.
It was as if a psychedelic hand grenade had gone off behind my eyes.
And early in that process, when he was just starting the chemo and he wasn't too sick, we were home and I hear a thump. And there on the floor, white, is my partner of 25 years. And his eyes are rolling, his face, his mouth is doing this. He's not breathing. I know that these thoughts come back from my days as a vet, that this is agonal breathing. And I'm racing to his side and all these thoughts are going through my head like, this is it. This is the moment. This is the day he dies. This is it right now. And I'm checking for a pulse. I don't even know how to do CPR. I don't know whether you can do CPR if they don't have a pulse at that point. And finally, I think about 3 minutes have gone by and I know that after 4 minutes, it's brain damage. And I'm looking down at one of the smartest people on the planet and I just go, and I start pushing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on 6, a pink line ran up his whole body and up his head and he woke up and he said, "Why are you crying?" It was that profound moment where, you realise that your partner can actually die. And once you know you can't unknow that, you love them, right? And you don't turn away in denial. You actually do whatever you can to save the one you love, whether it's going to work or not. And later on, when I was thinking about how we think about our actions for climate change long term, if you just think about the fact that those you love, your kids, the heart places that are at stake, look, if you love them, then you don't look away. You do whatever you can. Now, that might not work, but you have to try, right? It's not a political book, no. In fact, this book is completely different to anything I've seen, and that was one of the driving factors for me deciding I had no desire to write a book, but I could not find a book out there that wasn't lecturing to me, but just kind of took me on a journey through which I actually got to connect emotionally and find some ways through for myself. So with no book out there like that, I wrote that book, and look, the clue is in the title. So it's called Beyond Climate Grief, but very importantly, a journey of love, snow, fire, and an enchanted beer can. There's really surprising stories in it. I told you a couple of negative ones, but there's really joyful stories. And you've got interviews with Craig Rucastle and Charlie Pickering, the comedians. You've got the story of the enchanted beer can, just to surprise you. You've got the amazing story of the Castlemaine kids who single-handedly basically took the Greta movement and kickstarted it into a global movement. It's so inspiring. I hope this is a book that you'll actually really enjoy.